Ladies and gents, listen closely to this conversation. This right here epitomizes the Rogansphere. You will see just how cultish it is, the overall dynamics in play, and how one can never criticize the comedy czar, aka Joe Rogan, the big toe.
And then, I don't know, I wouldn't talk to Theo Vaughn or I wouldn't talk to Joe Rogan. I don't need to.
Would you not talk to them just because of their politics, or have you heard things about them that you like? I don't like this guy.
No, it's not necessarily even wouldn't talk to them, but I mean, the truth is, I don't respect them, and especially if I don't respect their stand-up comedy, then I go, well, what do I even care? I certainly don't respect you as a piercing journalist. So if I don't even like your stand-up, then whatever.
Yeah,
you're not a peer.
Stand-up is a taste thing. So anyone who doesn't like stand-up, but do you not
taste the thing? But I respect. I can respect someone who I hate if they're a great comic. I believe in the integrity of my comedic taste.
But do you not respect Rogan and Theo, at least for Theo gave a funny Trump interview. He gave the most different Trump interview that anyone has done, and he was totally himself. In the interview.
That's fine. He's a good interviewer. He's an entertaining personality. I just don't think Trump's a good force to America. I think it's hurt culture. I think it's hurt people. I think it hurts queer people. It's people get mistreated, and so I just don't like the cozying up. I think we've become way too cozy with politicians if we want to maintain that badge of being a comedian. I think politicians should be like, I don't know if I want to do the comedy podcast. And I think it's become a little too much you got to get on Rogan. You should be scared to go on a comedian's podcast if you're a politician.
I think Skinny Wolverine has a point here. Skinny Wolverine, aka Gianmarco Cerezzi, sorry if I'm butchering his name. He's a comic who's been very vocal about his disgust regarding Joe Rogan and the Rogansphere. And he was recently on Jim Norton's podcast, and they had a bit of a respectful clash regarding Joe Rogan and his overall influence on society. But I agree with him. I think comedians have been extremely cozy, too cozy, with these politicians. Case in point, Tim Dillon. Yesterday in his pod, Tim Dillon got a call from RFK Jr. basically stating, hey man, stop criticizing me. Tim Dillon's been longtime friends with RFK Jr. and now it's backfiring on him. In my opinion, a politician should be scared to go on a comics podcast. Aren't comedians, don't they try to portray themselves as, the arbiters of societal norms? Don't they, some of them even think that, they're, modern-day philosophers, how they are, the cultural commentators that everyone respects. And Jim Norton stated that, Theo got a funny interview out of the Donald Trump podcast or whatever. And I'm just but at what cost? That podcast alone had 17 million views on YouTube. I'm not even accounting for Twitter and Instagram, those clip farmers. Theo humanized Trump. He made him seem more appealing to the masses. They talked about drug abuse and families overcoming that. And Trump clearly took advantage of that conversation. That pod, in my opinion, fooled millions of people thinking that Trump has this sort of empathetic, compassionate, and understanding side that he never had, never did. So yeah, in this video, we're going to talk about this. Gianmarco Cerezzi. Is that how you say his name? Gianmarco, dude? What the fuck, dude? Gianmarco Cerezzi. Yes, I think, or Sorzi. My apologies. I can never say his name right, dude. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. So here's the next clip.
Here's what I like about it. I hate the media so much. I like that they've lost a lot of their ability to control what people are thinking. I love Joe, and I've seen plenty of things he said that I'm like, nah, that's not how I feel. And I've seen plenty of things he said, I go, yeah, that makes sense to me. So it's a kind of an issue by issue thing. I'll agree or not agree. But I think that having that choice is really good. And you look at the media, and they've kind of come off as these arbiters of what's true and what's not true.
Yeah.
And that's where they became hateable. So anything that is really ruining their ability to do that makes me happy.
But the thing is, is it ruining their ability, or is it just shifting to a different paradigm? Because it's so it's not that they're necessarily fracturing a belief in a media system. It's creating a kind of more skewed new version that everyone's listening to.
Well, Rogan did ask Kamala and he offered her any time.
That's fine.
She turned it down.
That's fine, but he's having on like the Sam Altmans and the Mark Zuckerbergs and some billionaire people and the Elon Musks that I'm like, this is not shaking up the paradigm. This is bolstering the richest people there is.
But they're also interesting people to hear talk. Like when we all have a choice when we hear somebody talk. Do I believe this or do I not believe this? And I don't think for other people. So if Kamala had done his show, maybe I would have liked her more. Maybe I wouldn't have liked her more.
Yeah.
But it doesn't convince me usually either way.
Joe Rogan is, all I know is that there's not a degree that why if he really loves a thing, go to school for it.
But I don't think you need to do that just to have a conversation about it. He's not
sure.
He's literally.
It's a lot of conversations about it.
But that's what his job is. Like,
what's his job?
To talk and to be entertaining.
Sure.
He's a comedian and he has a podcast, and that really is all it is. And he's just doing his job.
There's a lot of conjectures. You won't see me if I went on every single podcast and every conversation I had was about like you should get the vaccine. I should probably do more research about it.
But he probably did do the research. I have to say that. Like,
Sure.
and by the way, and I'm vaccinated, so I didn't take his advice on that. I can listen to Joe say something, and I agree with that, or I don't agree with that. But I don't put anybody in the position of saying like, well, I know the difference, but other people wouldn't.
But when is this entertainment? Because now it feels like we're talking about news. Now it feels like we're just talking about news, and then I go back to like, okay, well, news should have higher standards than entertainment.
But that obviously is entertainment because people are listening to it.
Jim Norton is out here playing the middle ground. Like, in respect to this comedy legend, he's been in the game for 30 years now. Respect to him, but he's out here defending his overall comedy czar. He's pushing back. He's basically stating that, Rogan asked Kamala to come on his podcast, but she never came on. That's the biggest, weakest copium argument. The way I see it, this is my opinion. The concern isn't simply about who Rogan invites onto his show. It's about the responsibility that comes with one of the largest media platforms in the world. Like, every episode reaches millions of listeners, and it could overall shape how people view science, politics, current events. Like, Norton is out here basically stating that, oh, dude, it's just entertainment. It's entertainment only, but to me, like, the consequences of Rogan's overall pods are just beyond entertainment. It radicalizes people. Joe Rogan, who's been radicalized himself, is out here doing the same to others. Regardless of whether these conversations were framed as, quote, I'm just asking questions, bro. They being the Rogansphere, Joe Rogan predominantly, spread misinformation to an enormous audience. Like, a platform of that size carries a level of responsibility that goes beyond simply stating, I'm just having conversations, bro. Rogan frequently gives lengthy, unchallenged interviews or, conversations to these tech oligarchs with no pushback whatsoever. And mind you, he does this to people who are known for spreading misinformation or, to circulate misleading claims regarding harmful subjects, science, cultural impact, anything. Which all in all leads to schmucks like me out here proclaiming, dude, the Rogansphere, the Joe Rogan Experience, that's a state propaganda show. Because that's how I see it. That's how he comes across to me. He's not independent media, He's not, quote unquote, politically homeless like he always states he is. Also, Norton stated there, dude, Rogan is out here. He's willing to listen to other people's, arguments or disagreements or whatever the hell. And I'm just like, no, he doesn't. When was the last time Rogan actually had somebody on his freaking pod who was like not even far left or left in general? Like, all he does is freaking platform the Trump admin. Rogan only has on guys who he agrees with, and he gives out these sycophantic interviews out here just freaking verbally sucking him off the entire time. I don't know why I said Lastly, Jim Norton, for those who don't know, he has a trans wife. So you like to think that this right here will be a bit sensitive to him, considering how the Trump admin has been very vile towards the trans community. And also, Joe Rogan himself goes on transphobic rants at least once a week. I'm not joking. I've covered them on this channel. During the Trump administration, he has banned military service for transgender individuals. He's also, affected them severely with their health care, halting federal funding for gender-affirming care, and restricting treatment for minors. He's also changing federal passport rules to restrict non-binary and updated sex markers, which obviously really, really affects emotionally and mentally to the queer community. Trump's even out here doing a counterterrorism strategy by targeting, quote, violent left-wing extremists with, quote, transgender ideology. So you see all the harm that Trump is doing to the trans community, yet Jim Norton is out here defending Joe Rogan, who is a sycophant to the Trump admin. Like if Jim Norton actually criticized Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan would have him expelled from the comedy scene. He would no longer invite him to his podcast. As a matter of fact, Joe Rogan would actually tell other comics to not platform this said comic when it's time to promote their tour dates or special. Like, that's how vindictive Joe Rogan is. You know what I mean? So yeah, it makes guys like Jim Norton be a bit submissive. And not just to him, to everyone around him. So yeah, that's my overall take on this. Fuck Joe Rogan, dude.
It's the same like Spider-Man quote of great power, great responsibility. It's just like, if you do look out one day and a bunch of people are taking your advice, I'm going to be a lot more careful when I give something as serious as what vaccinations your child should take.
But there are, yes, of course. But there are people who would listen to this and say, yeah, but look at all of the people that are coming to the conclusion you're saying, but on the opposite side of it, that are going, this guy's saying exactly what I think is right, and this guy is giving exactly the, I don't even want to say advice.
I just want to encourage people not to go to this for that advice. That's all. The same way I wouldn't want them to go to a priest for advice on to deal with their alcoholism if the priest is going to talk about, spirits and devil and don't masturbate. Like, I just think it's again, I don't really care about the person. It's more about look at society. Why are you going to this for this? If my dad was getting a heart surgery and said he was listening to Joe Rogan about what to prep for the surgery, I go, please, Father, please go to the doctor.
But I think with anything like that, we have to assume that the responsibility is on them to do that. Of course, I would always.
It is. Unfortunately, with vaccines, it's like their actions affect people. I wish everything were that easy. I wish it were.
But it is. People just choose differently. Like I listen to Joe, and I listen to a lot of people. And I went to talk to my doctor and talked to another doctor and decided to get the vaccine. I was able to.
Those are the three people. So you went three. Those are your three.
No, I'm saying I heard many different people talking about it. I'm saying I did hear what Rogan said.
Yeah.
I didn't go to him first to go, well, let's see. I just heard what he said. But it didn't. Sometimes it would affect the way you make a decision. Sometimes it wouldn't affect the way you make a decision.
The mental gymnastics, he is out here, getting his medical advice from multiple different doctors and Joe Rogan. What are we doing, bruh? What are we doing? And mind you, Joe Rogan is out here dishing out more medical advice than these actual doctors. Every single episode, this man's like, yeah, man, Ibogaine, yeah, man, it'll help you, and he has a much wider reach than these doctors. Oh my God. Anyways, Norton also stated in that clip that Joe Rogan has doctors on his podcast. Joe Rogan only has doctors on who actually agree with his point of view. Joe Rogan has these crooked doctors who are out here to spread misleading claims. Also, Norton stated that these podcasters don't have this responsibility that the media does. And I'm just like, bro, do you live in 2026? Legacy media is dying or it's dead already. It's dead in the street. It's a carcass. You know what I mean? RFK Jr. is going to come up and cut the penis off the legacy media and stash it for later. It's dead. Okay. Where it's at right now, it's better or for worse, is YouTube. These independent or quote unquote independent medias out here. Did Jim Norton not see Trump's 2024 campaign? All Trump did was go on the manosphere, the red pill, the Rogansphere, and he used it to his advantage. And I want to show you this report, even though it's a bit outdated. It's from 2025, October though. It says here that 1 in 3 Americans say that they get their news from podcasts at least sometimes, nearly a 50% increase over the past 5 years, according to Pew Research Center. And it goes on to say here that while the average cable news viewer is in their late 60s, these freaking boomers, podcasts attract a younger audience. Quote, around 4 in 10 U.S. adults under 50, 39%, say that they get their news from podcasts often or sometimes, compared with 24% of those ages 50 and older. I think Jim Norton should have that overall responsibility argument and how he applied it to media and also apply it to these podcasters. If the podcasters now have much more viewers than legacy media, why are you so hesitant to transfer that overall responsibility from one end to the other? I don't get it, dude. To me, again, this is why it shows me that this man right here, being submissive, and it definitely comes across as cowardly because his own wife is trans. The Trump admin is pretty much attacking his wife. Come on now, dude. Like I think he knows better, but it's just the overall dynamics here in play. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. Till next video, peace, y'all.